Hi, we've come down to Elan Valley in Powys, Wales. Today we're going to take a short walk around the bottom dam, and then we'll pick up a few little short walks whilst we take a drive around the dams. When you first arrive at Elan Valley Dams, a good place to start is the visitor centre. There's ample parking, a cafe, toilets, gift shop with an information desk and leaflets on the walks around the estate, cycle paths and activities on offer. You can even hire various types of bikes, road bikes, mountain bikes, even electric bikes. And we can't forget the amazing history of the dams. Let's start by looking at our AllTrails app. This is a short 1.4 kilometre walk that takes us across the bridge at the foot of the Caban Coch Dam, back through the woods, then over another bridge that sits next to a lovely old suspension bridge just before heading back to the car park. I'm heading off doing the circuit anti-clockwise as I prefer to head towards the dam first. I love coming here to walk. Different weather, different times of the year, it all gives very different scenery. There's a park for the little ones behind the cafe. An interesting art piece made up of small stones representing the outline of the county Powys, with larger stones incorporating nameplates in English and in Welsh for some of the main towns. Either side of the river there are buildings that house the turbines generating clean hydro power for the national grid. The dams are undoubtedly the biggest draw to Elan Valley, offering a wonderful all year round backdrop for cyclists, walkers and photographers. There are 4 dams on the River Elan: Craig Goch, Pen y Garreg, Garreg Ddu and Caban Coch. The River Clairwyn has the newest and the largest Clairwyn Dam, followed by the unfinished Ddu Dam. At this point you have to forgive me for the pronunciations. Welsh isn't a strong point. If you fancy scouting the area first, with the exception of Ddu all the dams are accessible by car. First question could be, why are they here? The reservoirs, which were built by the Birmingham Corporation Water Department, provide clean drinking water for Birmingham in the West Midlands of England. Water from the reservoir is carried by gravity to the Franklin Reservoir in Birmingham via the Elan Aqueduct. Pumping is not required because the network drops 52 metres, that's 171 feet, along its 73 miles, 117 kilometres, from its source to Franklin. A gradient of 1 to 2,300 maintains a flow of less than 2 miles per hour. Water takes 1.5 to 2 days to reach Birmingham. The aqueduct, which was started in 1896 and opened in 1906, crosses several valleys and features numerous brick tunnels, pipelines and valve houses. Work to build the Elan Valley Reservoir was undertaken because the rapid growth of the industrial city of Birmingham in the late 19th century had led to a lack of available clean water. Numerous outbreaks of disease prompted Birmingham City Council to petition the British government, which passed the Birmingham Corporation Waters Act in 1892. It allowed the corporation to acquire by compulsory purchase all the land within the water catchment area of Elan Valley. Thousands of navvies and their families lived in the all-purpose built Elan village during the construction of the first 4 dams at the turn of the 20th century. In 1952, Clairwyn Dam was opened by Queen Elizabeth II in one of her first official engagements as monarch. The lowest of the dams, built in the valley of the Elan River, is the Caban Coch Dam. It's the simplest and most functional in appearance of all the dams. Caban Coch Dam contributes to the supply of water to Birmingham when the water levels are normal, but also provides compensation water to ensure that the adequate flow is maintained in the Elan and the Wye downstream. Garreg Ddu Dam serves a dual role. It is a low, completely submerged dam which plays a vital role in maintaining constant supply of water to Birmingham. It also supports masonry pillars carrying the access road to the neighbouring valley of the River Clairwyn. Garreg Ddu holds back water on the upstream side so that water can always be extracted at the fold tower to allow Birmingham to be gravity fed, removing the need of pumps. The Elan Estate Woodland Biodiversity Project is being undertaken to enhance the biodiversity of our deciduous woodlands. The aim of the project is to improve the biodiversity of our woodlands, to increase the variety and number of all groups of animals and plants wherever possible in line with the UK Biodiversity Action Plan. Also to improve the facilities and access to education, as well as enjoyment of the woodland environment. The main task ahead over the next 20 years is to replace at least 70 hectares of what is now coniferous woods with broadleaf species. Large areas of conifers will need to be clear felled and then replanted with thousands of small oak, birch, rowan, hazel and ash, which are being grown from seed gathered from the estate. You can see here from an area that they've felled that they're doing some artwork in the stump. They look amazing and great for visitors. I think this one at the moment has got to be my favourite. I love the owls. Just over the bridge here, there's a parking area on the right hand side. This lends itself to a pathway that follows the river. You'll come to a little bridge that will allow you to get to the bottom of the Pen y Garreg Dam. Pen y Garreg is the third dam up the Elan Valley. Often referred to as the middle dam, it's unusual in that it houses an access tunnel to the centre tower, which is lit by apertures in the downstream side of the dam. This enables Pen y Garreg to be open to the public on certain days of the year. You may have just noticed that the first shot at the bottom of the dam, there was no water coming over the dam. When I got to the top of the dam, it didn't suddenly start coming over. That's actually from a previous visit. It shows you that every time you go there, it's different. The photograph is also from a trip many years ago, and a strong autumn wind was blowing the spray back over the top of the dam. Just a little further, on the right hand side, you'll see some parking spaces. They belong to the Penbont House tea rooms and bed and breakfast. It's just around the hairbend. So now we're just going to follow the reservoir up towards the top dam in this valley. We can see some of the small rivers and brooks running into the reservoir en route, and then eventually we come to the beautiful Craig Goch. Craig Goch is the highest upstream of the series of dams in the Elan Valley. It's often referred to as the top dam. It's located at a height of 1,040 feet, that's 317 metres above sea level. As with all the dams, work started with the arrival of the railway line at the site. In the case of this dam, the line had the furthest to go and a rocky outcrop had to be blasted and dug through on the route to the site, now known as Devil's Gulch. Work on excavating the foundations for a secure base of the structure started in July 1897. That's some 3 years after the start of the work on the lower dam at Caban Coch. Craig Goch is seen by many as the most attractive of the dams, with an elegantly curved retaining wall and a series of arches carrying a narrow roadway across the top of the dam. As we move on further, following the road around the top reservoir, the landscape becomes boggy with vast grasslands that are fenced off, protecting the multitude of wildlife. You also see plenty of sheep and rams roaming around, and if you're lucky, various breeds of cattle. And of course, depending on the time of year, spring lambs jumping around. Just be warned, if you decide to go exploring off the beaten track, the ground tends to stay very boggy and wet most of the year around. It can be quite treacherous. When you reach the top of the reservoir, you'll find a meandering river heading off through the valley. Next to the bridge, there are a few picnic tables and parking area to take a break and enjoy the views. After the bridge and a winding road, you come to a junction where we'll turn right and head back towards Rhyadr, the nearest town to Elan Valley. Here the landscape becomes vast, but as we head back down towards the end, the river that runs parallel to the road is rocky and has some small waterfalls, which can be quite memorising. Well, that's about it. We've come to the end of our drive, and I hope you've seen enough to want to come and explore the Elan Estate. You may have noticed we've missed Clywyn, the largest of all the dams, Dollymunach, the base of the dam that was never built, and also, one we haven't mentioned, the remains of Garreg Dam. Ever heard of the Bouncing Bomb, the dam busters in the Second World War? In another Hike It for Health video, we'll be hiking a circular route to see if we can find the remains of the test dam, the abandoned base, and exploring the vast size of Clywyn. Also, we'll be looking to explore more of the Elan Estate. Until next time, happy hiking!